This is ABC15 Mornings.
A sign of hope in the fight against COVID. How many millions of Americans are now fully vaccinated?
Plus, the school districts preparing to welcome back students for the first time in a year tomorrow.
And tackling child poverty, how the American Rescue Plan will help families struggling during the pandemic.
And we want to say good morning to you. It is 6 o'clock on your Sunday. I'm Megan Thompson and Mark. I was just looking at my cell phone and I saw that ABC15 push alert telling us all about how much rain we got at Phoenix Sky Harbor yesterday, 0.36. We were actually anticipating a little bit less than that. So that is great news and a lot to talk about in that most accurate forecast.
Yeah, I thought that number sounded low when you said point something, but I guess if it's more than expected, that's pretty good. I myself, numbers aside, I just enjoyed it. I mean, some great sleeping weather, overcast day. You know, we don't get many of those, so nice change of pace.
You are exactly right, Mark. And I know we were talking about making cookies yesterday. I went and I did exactly that because of those temperatures. Today's going to be a little bit different, cooler to start the day here, but we will warm up into the 70s, 36 at least right now in Anthem, 39 in Apache Junction, Fountain Hills, 40 for you, 42 in Tempe, 41 in Ahwatukee. Ahwatukee, you got a lot of rain yesterday. Good for you. And Levine, 40 for you. Goodyear, 43 degrees right now. For your Valley Planner, by 7 a.m., 46 degrees. By 10 a.m., 55 degrees. Then by 2 p.m., 66. So we only warmed to just over 60 degrees at Phoenix Sky Harbor yesterday. So we will warm more quickly than we did yesterday, into the 70s for our high today, back more near the normal range for this time of year. But another storm system is moving in and it's going to change that 7-day forecast. We'll get into that ahead. Mark. Well, we do have an update to a traffic alert we told you about earlier. The I-10 at 40th Street is back open after a crash. That is the good news. We brought you this as breaking news about an hour ago that all of the westbound lanes there in the area were closed. The good news we have to report in our 6 o'clock hour is that they are now open.
All right, Megan, thank you for that. And now to the very latest on COVID-19 here in Arizona. The Arizona Department of Health Services reporting 262 new COVID cases yesterday, bringing our state's total number of cases to 832,000. Also, there are 27 new COVID-related deaths to report, adding to the more than 16,000 deaths in Arizona since the start of the pandemic. However, some good news now. More people are getting vaccinated. According to the CDC, more than 68 million people have received at least one shot, and close to 37 million are fully vaccinated here in Arizona. And then 21% now of people are vaccinated.
Right now, though, spring breakers are flocking to Texas and Florida. People seen here packing bars and restaurants with few masks in sight, but it's causing health officials to fear that the country may be opening back up a little too soon, possibly wiping away all the progress made in the battle to contain the pandemic.
Cases and hospitalizations and deaths remain high, and we've been fooled before into being too lax. So now is the time to double down to see this through.
At least 24 states have rolled back restrictions, including Arizona. Tomorrow, LA County in California will reopen gyms, movie theaters, and indoor dining at a limited capacity. And U.S. air travel has hit a new pandemic record. TSA says more than 1.3 million people were screened at airports on Friday. That's the highest number since March 15th of 2020. The CDC is still warning against air travel, even for those who are fully vaccinated. But the new numbers indicate that people are more confident to get out and travel. However, industry insiders say passenger volumes are still about 57% below pre-pandemic levels.
And tomorrow, more than a dozen schools in Arizona will expand or return to in-person learning. A big day for a lot of districts. We've got a list of districts that we want to put up on your screen. That includes Cartwright, Osborne, Tempe Elementary School District, and Tempe Union High School District, Kyrene School District. They will also welcome back students on Tuesday. Many of those schools will be welcoming back students on campus for the first time in a year. Tomorrow also marks 1 year since Governor Doug Ducey and Superintendent Kathy Hoffman announced a statewide closure of Arizona public schools.
It feels like yesterday, but also feels like forever ago. And right now, stimulus checks are going out around the country. Some have already seen the money pop up in their bank account. A reminder, those making up to $75,000 a year will get $1,400. It's prorated for incomes up to 80 grand. Direct deposits will go out first, with physical checks expected sometime over the next 2 weeks. The stimulus package also includes a plan to help low-income families. A new policy is working to tackle child poverty. ABC's Elizabeth Schultz has more.
Millions of American families are set to receive a much-needed financial boost.
Help is on the way. Half the children in America will no longer be in poverty.
The American Rescue Plan, signed into law by President Biden this week, designed to help families across the country, like this mother of two from Washington State who amassed thousands of dollars of debt during the pandemic.
We were struggling, but now we feel a lot better. We are happier that help is on the way, and we feel relieved, and the money is going to be really a blessing.
The plan increases the child tax credit to $3,600 a year per child under the age of 6 and to $3,000 a year per child between the ages of 6 and 18. Individuals making up to $75,000 annually or couples earning up to $150,000 qualify for the full payments. The extra money, a lifeline for single mother of two, Shivani Jones. Her husband died unexpectedly from a pulmonary embolism 3 years ago. A medical social worker in South Florida, Jones says it's been a struggle to make ends meet.
It was a huge financial strain because you go from having two household incomes and taking care of two children together to being the sole provider.
Starting in July, the IRS will start distributing the expanded child tax credit in monthly payments. That means an extra $550 per month for Shivani Jones.
That would be a huge help for my household right now.
Now, the expanded credit only lasts for a year under the current law, setting up what could be another big debate here in Washington about making it permanent. Elizabeth Schultz, ABC News, Washington.
All right, well, looking ahead to Wednesday, it is St. Patrick's Day, and to celebrate, the famous fountain in Fountain Hills will turn green. The fountain is located near Saguaro Boulevard and Panorama Drive. The water will go green at noon and 5 p.m. And starting this Thursday, the Easter Bunny will be at the Arizona Mills Mall. You'll be able to take socially distanced photos through April 4th, which is Easter, also my birthday. And on Saturday, April 3rd, you can have brunch with the Easter Bunny at Rainforest Cafe. To make a reservation, go to simon.com.
Did everyone take note of that? That's Mark's birthday. Make sure you write it in your calendars, everyone. Hey, let's take a look at that most accurate forecast today. If you're going to go see the Diamondbacks take on the Giants at 11 a.m. when you're heading out, it'll be about 58 degrees. First pitch is around 105, 110, 65 degrees by then by 4 p.m., 70 degrees. I think this is an absolutely beautiful spring training forecast for you out there. Just make sure you bring your hat and your sunglasses and you're reapplying that sunscreen out there. For the forecast today, for a high, we're tracking 71 degrees, sunny and breezy for you. Those breezes are going to pick up and it will get downright windy statewide. When it comes to Snowbull and Flagstaff, 44 is the high today. Base depth is 60 inches, 8 lifts are open, 41 trails are open with all of that fresh powder that we've got. Sold out today and tomorrow, but we're tracking another storm system that may give you another opportunity to head that way. That's coming up in that full, most accurate forecast.
All right, Megan, thank you. Well, the ABC 15 Health Insider team is committed to bringing you in-depth coverage and taking you beyond the headlines to understand the very latest in medical news. And with vaccines becoming more available and more people getting those vaccines, we know that a lot of you out there have questions. And we're going to be giving you some answers in our latest ABC 15 Health Insider Town Hall. Now, that town hall will be on Tuesday, March 16th, during the 6 a.m. hour of ABC 15 Mornings and the 7 a.m. hour of ABC 15 Mornings on the CW61 Arizona. We know that it's all a big week also for returning to in-person learning, so we're bringing in a psychologist to help with any questions that you might have about behavioral and mental health concerns. You can email your questions ahead of time to healthinsider@abc15.com.
6:10 now on your Sunday, and don't get scammed. The Let Joe Know team with a new warning that cost one woman thousands of dollars. Right now, as the NASA rover explores Mars, how the Navajo Nation is playing a big part in their findings.
Thanks for watching ABC 15 Arizona, streaming 24/7 on Roku and these streaming devices.
Well, here are some photos of the snow at Watson Lake. And as you can see here, just a beautiful sight there. Thanks to our viewer, Leslie Haley, for sending these in. We always appreciate getting pictures in from our viewers, especially when they get to show some of the landscape that we may not be seeing in our particular area, Megan.
You know, Mark, Arizona is just so beautiful, and we love to see these pictures. I think it's so interesting once we see the cactus maybe covered in that snow, or the mountains we don't normally see covered in snow, covered in that white powder. It's just absolutely beautiful. Changes our already beautiful landscape and gives us something different to look at. And those snowfall totals, relatively impressive for us. I know we are tracking the drought here at ABC 15, and that most accurate forecast, and every inch, every drop of rain helps. Here's the snowfall reports at AZ Snowbowl. 28 inches after all of this storm has been said and done. And Parks, 16.5 inches. Saley in the Navajo Nation, 5.6. Pine Top with Lakeside, 3.1 for you. In Prescott, between 2 and 5 inches. So relatively impressive snowfall totals that what we've seen so far. Clouds and radar looking a little different than what it did yesterday. We'll zoom in to see if there's any activity left around near Show Low and White River. Just a little bit there, maybe a sprinkle or two. Some snow flurries in the area, but for the most part, this storm has cleared out. What we're tracking today, the big story today, is those wind alerts. They're going to be to the western portion of the state along the Colorado River Valley, all of that area in the tan, and also to the east. You see it, Winslow and Heber, Show Low and Safford. So both of our states are kind of pocketed by these wind advisories that will take effect at 11 a.m. and they will stay in effect through 7 p.m. because we could see gusts in both of these areas up to 50 miles per hour with sustained winds between 20 and 30 miles per hour. The valley will also be breezy. Keep that in mind. For the highs today, 46 in Heber, 47 in Show Low, along the Ribbon Payson, 47, 54 degrees in Sedona, 44 in Flagstaff, and 46 at the Grand Canyon. Prescott, 54 for you, and 74 degrees in Quartzsite. Right now in the valley, a beautiful start to the day as we're starting to see a peak of that sunrise this morning. 43 in Phoenix, 42 in Mesa, 40 in Glendale, and 41 degrees in Goodyear. For your valley planner, we'll warm up into the 50s around 9 a.m. and then we'll get into the 60s around that noon hour, 61 degrees. Now, even though we're clearing out today, we do actually have storm chances in that forecast tomorrow. This is 10 p.m. tomorrow night, so it's a late storm that'll move in while you're sleeping into those overnight hours. This is Tuesday morning where we see some more potential rain and snow activity to the high country. Also hoping we get a piece of that action here in the valley. So the models show about a 10% chance for us to see some sprinkles, some showers here in the Phoenix metro. 71 today, breezy conditions. Then when you wake up tomorrow morning, we'll be in the 50s, 75 degrees to start your work week tomorrow with that late storm chance. 65 on Tuesday. This storm system is going to really drop our temperatures significantly into Tuesday. Then Wednesday, we bounce back to 74 degrees, and then we'll rise from there into the 80s. Take a look at Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 60s, 70s, and then 80s. And then we get even closer to that 90-degree mark, 88 degrees by Friday.
All right, Megan, thank you. Well, there is never a good time to be scammed, but right now during the pandemic, with so many people who are either sick or out of work, losing any amount of money can make it feel even worse. ABC 15's Joe Ducey now with a warning about emails, texts, and calls that are not quite what they seem.
The email looked legitimate from PayPal. Her antivirus software was renewing, and they charged her more than $500.
I didn't want the Norton virus, so I called the number on the email that I received.
And wanted the money refunded. She's told,
all we need to do is transfer the funds back.
Transfer the money directly into her bank account. So she gives them access. Says she sees the $500 charge, but then,
boom, an extra zero popped into it. So here's now $5,000.
Ann was being scammed and didn't know it yet. She just wanted her $500 back. But these scammers are bold. While in her bank account, they manipulated, showing Ann that they mistakenly refunded her $5,000 instead of $500. And now they want their money back.
He says, go to your bank and have the money transferred.
Ann tried, but the bank suspected a scam and wouldn't allow it. Ann didn't know what to think, but still wants to return that money.
I thought, well, okay, the $4,500 doesn't belong to me, so I'll do what he tells me to do. To send him $4,500 in cash to an address in California.
She sent it by UPS. Ann says she felt panicked, like she was being held hostage and just wanted it all to end. These scammers know what they're doing. When she finally realized it was all a fraud, she says she called UPS and got some good news.
The package has been intercepted and would not be delivered. I thought, oh, thank you, God.
That good news was temporary. From a UPS email, customer attempted to place hold on package, but it was never completed and package was delivered. Ann lost $4,500, blaming herself and UPS. UPS did not get back to us by airtime. Ann told her story to prevent others from being victimized by the same scam. Bottom line, don't click on email links or talk to unknown callers. Reach the business through contacts you know are legitimate. And never let anyone remotely into your bank account or your computer. Have you been scammed? Email joe@abc15.com. For the Rebound Arizona, I'm Joe Ducey. If you got a problem, let me know.
Joe, thank you so much. Is it safe to go out with friends or family after you get your COVID vaccine? This morning, our Health Insider team asked the experts to get you the answers. The one thing you're doing before bed that could be taking a toll on your mental and physical health. We'll explain. Okay, listen up. Let me know if this describes you perfectly. It is way past your bedtime, and yet you are still awake, scrolling on your phone, watching TV, doing anything but resting. It's gotten so common that there's actually a name for it, and Dr. Katie Stage with the Southwest College of Naturopathic Medicine is joining us to talk about it. Dr. Stage, can you tell us about revenge bedtime procrastination, and have you seen it get worse amid the pandemic?
So it's a new name for something that's probably been around for a while. And the concept is that you go to bed, or you think you're going to go to bed, and you pick up your phone and then you start scrolling, usually through social media, for much longer than you want to. And then what happens is you don't go to sleep on time and you're tired the next day, and then maybe you keep doing it over and over because you're too tired to do other things. And I think it's definitely worse in the pandemic. Like so many things, a lot of the activities that we might have done before are less accessible. And so we can control this, right? You've got your phone always. And, it's just the idea of it being procrastination is this sense of like trying to gain control over something in your life where life has maybe changed a lot.
So why do we keep doing this to ourselves, even though we know how bad it is going to feel in the morning?
I think part of it is that most of us, I think, have a little bit less connection we did than over a year ago with other people. And so we're looking for that connection, for that meaning in life. And I think it was just a little bit easier to get that when you were at work and you were going to the coffee shop and you were interacting with more people, and now I think we're picking up the phone and we're looking for that because life feels like it's missing something. But the thing is, you don't get that from social media in most cases. It feels like we might, but we really, most of us don't feel better at the end of that scroll. We feel worse, and then we're tired and we've lost sleep.
Can you talk a little bit too about how this does and can impact us both mentally and physically in our day-to-day lives if we continue to participate in this type of behavior?
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, if we don't get enough sleep, we get really dramatically negative outcomes. I mean, people will start to realize their mood is not as good. It might be more irritable, work performance or school performance can decline. It can also be more labile, where your emotions are just kind of all over the place and you're feeling not good. It can be, more headaches, more migraines, more likely to gain weight, which already people are kind of thinking about, since a lot of people have, gained a little bit of weight from COVID. Burnout, and so the thing that we're sort of looking to address, this sense of loss of control and loss of connection and tiredness, actually gets worse, when we're doing an activity that makes us more tired, and we cycle and we cycle and cycle.
What are some suggestions that you have, Dr. Stage, about stopping this doom scrolling constantly and staying up far too late?
I think an important thing is that it's probably a habit for a lot of people. And I'll admit, I've done it myself, right? I think most of us have, yeah. And so you can't just decide to stop a habit. You have to replace a habit with something else. And so you're going to have to choose something that can give you some meaning or some connection to do instead of this. And hopefully, at a time that is not going to interrupt your bedtime. So, my recommendation is something like, either set aside a time every day to maybe connect with a pet or a family member or a friend, but build that time in early enough so that you can feel like you've done that, you've achieved it, and then when it's bedtime, you'll feel a little bit more satisfied that you've done what you wanted to do. Whatever can bring meaning into your life, there's lots of different ways to do that, but to be intentional, to put it into your life instead of just expecting that it's going to happen.
Admitting that you have a problem is the first step, right? So now that we could say that we know that we do this too often and we want to make a change, we could start that thanks to the solutions that Dr. Katie Stage with the Southwest College of Naturopathic Medicine has offered us. We'll be sure to put those tips in this story on abc15.com.
All right, Megan, thank you so much for that. Still ahead, a spike in people struggling with mental health issues during the pandemic. The simple thing that you can do to manage your well-being. Plus, the Grammy Awards are tonight. A look at who's expected to perform.